Hello there, what is going on everyone? Today we are back with episode number 10 of Awesome Gaming News. This is a recurring series I do talking about positive and good and otherwise awesome stories in the tabletop gaming world, and it's an effort to bring more positivity and uplifting and happy stories to you from me. Things that I am interested in, things that I think might cheer you up a little bit or possibly bring a little brightness into your day. And we're going to talk about this, a couple of different topics today. This one might be a longer episode. It might be a little bit longer. I'll try to put timestamps down in the in the video scroller. So if there's something you're not interested in or something you want to jump to, you can talk about all of these things. So yeah, we're going to do that. Also, we're going to kick off a new round of the giveaway for a $25 Amazon gift card. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. We're also going to be doing the 12 Days of Life Day in December. I know it's not even Halloween yet. We're getting close, which is also kind of awesome because Halloween is an awesome time of year. Get to have lots of candy and get to put on costumes, and it also counts down getting into Thanksgiving, which is also one of my favorite holidays because mashed potatoes and stuffing, and frankly I like to make macaroni and cheese at Thanksgiving, but not everybody does, so I'm curious. Oh, that's a great idea for a comment. Let me know either A, your favorite Thanksgiving side, or B, your favorite Halloween candy if you have one of those. If not, let me know your favorite board game, or all three, whatever you want to do. Also, if you have any excellent, inspiring, or uplifting gaming stories, definitely feel free to share them with me. They might make episode number 11. Can you believe we're 10 episodes in? I don't do this with exact regularity. I've been doing Awesome Gaming News now for a while. I would say for about a year, just over a year. We started this back in September of 2024. And I haven't been doing it with exact regularity, but I've been trying to, kind of gather as positive stories kind of come in, and we talk about all of that. So I want to start talking about a game that I'm very excited about today, and it's Eve. Eve, the War for New Eden. You may have heard of Eve Online. Well, they made a board game version, and this one went to Kickstarter and GameFound, and is being fulfilled. It's shipping now. People are starting to get it. I think a lot of people have already gotten their stuff. I haven't gotten mine yet. And there's a very good reason for that. By the way, this is going to be a 4X game. It's going to feature a lot of ships. It's a little bit more fleet-based, a little bit less ground combat from what I understand, but I don't even know the rules yet because I'm just like, I went and backed this one blind. This wasn't one of those deals where I asked for a review copy. It was just like, I wanted this game. It looked cool because I love Twilight Imperium. By the way, we're going to talk a lot about Twilight Imperium if you haven't seen my video from yesterday. That's going to be a big part of the video, so stay tuned for that. But in the topic of 4X games, Eve, it's coming. I did get notice that I'll be one of the last people to get mine, and the reason is, it's a good reason, is I got the oversized version, which means instead of normal hexes, I'm going to have really big hexes, and I'm going to have a ridiculously sized game. And I think that's cool. I happen to have a big table. I hope it's big enough. If not, it's going to be time for a bigger table. Or, in the absence of that, maybe we'll be playing in the garage, or maybe playing on the floor. I don't know. It'd make a great convention kind of game. So that's one of my options there for so maybe the next Escape WinterCon, or next Crucible or QuestCon, or something like that. I don't know if I'll be able to bring this to Adepticon or not, but it's going to be a really big fleet game, 4X game. If you guys have been following me for a while, I love Star Wars Armada. I love space games. I used to cover X-Wing like crazy. That's kind of where I started my channel. Ship-based games, awesome. Love spaceships, love plastic spaceships, love tabletop, and all of that. So this one just seemed really exciting. Can't wait to get my hands on this. And because it's not one of those where I did like a review copy thing for, I can kind of take my time. I can learn it real slow. I can take my time with it. I can make videos if I want to or not. It's so if I hate the game, then I'm under no obligation to do any content on it. But it doesn't look like I'm gonna hate it. It looks like it's really cool. I tend to like 4X games anyway, even though I don't get to play them too often. And I think this one is going to be 2-player available as well, so that's going to be an exciting way to play this one. So again, I'm excited to learn more about it once I get it and start reading through it. I know there was rule books online, and I'm more interested in kind of just discovering it. I don't get to openly discover too many games. A lot of times I have to do all my research beforehand, and this one just looked cool, and I said, I'm just going in blind. So I know that that's kind of bad from a game journalistic point of view, but it's something I don't get to do often. So that's why I'm talking about it in Awesome Gaming News, because for me, this is awesome. And I think for you guys, you might think it's awesome too, because again, it's a spaceship-based game, and that's one of the things I tend to cover quite a bit. Love science fiction-based games, love space games, and even though it's not Star Wars, I still think it looks cool. Speaking of Star Wars, let's go to topic number 2, game number 2, whatever. Star Wars Legion. We've got new stuff coming out. The new starters have been out for a couple of weeks now, and we're starting to get more stuff. We're getting those customizable Imperials and Rebels, those leaders, those officers, those agents, the ways to build them. You get multiple models in here and lots of different customizable options. And I've got to say, if you've seen some of my recent Legion coverage, the new stuff is incredible. Like, this is Games Workshop quality. Like, Atomic Mass has really kicked it up a notch. Like, the Stormtroopers are so good that I'm like, I really kind of want to like take all of my old models and kind of just put them in a box and just start all over again. Maybe not all of my old models, because some of the more recent stuff is better. And that's not just because the old models were bad. The old models are great. But it's a combination of having upgraded plastic, better sculpts, and also, frankly, when you've been painting for a long time and you go back and you look at something you painted 5 years ago or something you painted 10 years ago and you're like, oh, I've gotten a little bit better. And so it's cool to see the progression of skills. It's cool to see, hey, I have a new idea for basing that I want to do now. I have a new idea for armor that I want to do now. I want my stuff to be cleaner. I want my stuff to be dirtier. I want my stuff to be all green or whatever. You can do that, right? So it's fun having a hobby project. It's fun having a painting project. It's fun listening to audiobooks and doing all that stuff. And these guys in particular are going to be really fun for Star Wars Legion players, also hobbyers. If you're into modding or doing custom stuff, definitely you're going to be into this, and also into Star Wars role playing. If you're into RPG stuff or dioramas in general, these guys, you can build them so many different ways. You can create your own story through these new things. Look for some of my reviews for some of the newest Star Wars Legion stuff next week. That's the plan, and plans don't always go the way they're according to plan, but that's what I'm planning it to go according to plan. Plan. Let's go. Speaking of tabletop miniatures games and new stuff, you may have seen a recent Warhammer Age of Sigmar, the Healthsmiths of Hashut army set. These are otherwise known as the Chaos Dwarves. They are in stores now. This is a $200 army set that you're getting a lot more than $200 worth of stuff for. Still not cheap. We are getting the full battle tome. You're getting all the cards and lots of models in here too. It's about 500 to 600 points worth of models in here, so you're going to need more stuff than this. They haven't put these guys. I think we still have a month or two until like the rest of these guys come out, and then they become fully like legal in game. But if you want to get a head start on painting some of the core of your Chaos Dwarf army, these things are available, and it's really nice versions of the cards and the books. You get kind of designer versions of those. So it's cool. They look fun, and it's always exciting to start a new faction or to see a fan-loved faction come back to the game. A lot of people were clamoring for Chaos Dwarves. There's a lot of really big Chaos Dwarf players from older Warhammer that are ready for these guys to come back, and it's exciting to see them come back. I think in November's World Championships, also Warhammer's going to be announcing some new stuff. I also happen to be a player of Ogre Maw Tribes, and they're supposedly getting a full reset as well as a couple other factions getting some new stuff. So it's going to be a fun time for Warhammer. They have the World Championships that are going on in November, I want to say. So exciting times ahead for all GW games, but for me particularly, I tend to focus on Age of Sigmar. So super fun stuff and really, really excellent models, especially from a medieval kind of hobby fantasy type of game, of which I don't have too many of those available to me right now. So I'm really excited about more Age of Sigmar. Although I will say, the Middle Earth the Middle Earth game is a pretty impressive looking game, especially the stuff they do with it. I was just at a convention here in Orlando, QuestCon, and the Crucible tournament. There was a lot of folks playing big, ridiculous Middle Earth battles, and these amazing things. And I really should have like done some more coverage of it because it's incredible. But yeah, if you guys who play this game, you know what I'm talking about. It's really over the top with the stuff they do with terrain in that game. Very cool stuff. Very, very cool stuff. Talking about over the top, Magic the Gathering has announced a ton of new stuff for next year. New stuff for some, and some of it's even this year. I mean, we're talking secret lair drops, The Office with like 6 Dwight Schrute cards, all kinds of crazy stuff. And I haven't changed the graphic yet. I'm getting there. I only have one graphic for this, and I want it to time up with how I'm going to say all this. It's led a lot of people to say they're doing too much with Magic the Gathering. And now, I don't cover Magic the Gathering a whole lot here. They just did the Spider-Man stuff. They've announced a couple of really cool things. They've, in addition to like normal sets, a lot of crossovers for next year. And then they're going to kind of stop crossovers. There's one they didn't announce yet. I don't know what that is. But we've got stuff like Marvel Superheroes coming next year. There's The Hobbit is getting a set next year. So you're going to see that. Avatar's getting ready to come out soon. But late next year, I think like November, like Q4 of 2026, we're going to be seeing something in Magic the Gathering I never thought I'd see before. And it is one of the very few things that would make me jump directly back into Magic the Gathering. And hopefully I didn't lose you yet, because Star Trek is coming to Magic the Gathering. You might think, what are we doing? I get that. This seems pretty far removed from how Magic the Gathering started. But I tend to look at this as a standalone set. I tend to think of Star Trek and Magic the Gathering as its own standalone separate game. And I'm all about it. I would love to pick up multiple boxes of this, play against people, draft, and just play Star Trek versus Star Trek, Enterprise versus Klingons. They do actually have a way to have ships and have crewed vehicles and things like that. They recently did a science fiction set for Magic the Gathering, so I feel like it could totally work. And it looks like it's going to span multiple eras. There's art that was leaked of Kirk. There's art that was leaked of Gowron. You can see the Enterprise D. So it's going to span, the original series up to Next Generation era, possibly DS9. I haven't seen any of the art from that yet, but this one looks really cool to me. I'm down for it, and the art alone is going to be a really cool thing. I love it. It has had a lot of people asking questions about, like, wow, they got Star Trek before they got Star Wars, because again, the relationship between Magic and Disney has been really interesting. Now, a funny thing about this is the fact that licensing for printed card games is a little bit different from digital games, right? And so I recently reinstalled like Magic the Gathering Arena, and like for the digital versions of Magic, both Magic Online and Magic Arena, they don't have the most recent Spider-Man stuff, and there was licensing reasons. So what they ended up doing is they made a whole new set with all of those cards in the Spider-Man set, but they changed them. They changed them a little bit. They changed the art and they changed the names. So this way they are at least mechanically identical to the cards that are in the Spider-Man set, but have different names. And so it's not in different art. So like there are like giant spiders, but they're like fantasy spiders, right? And so I wonder if that's going to be the same thing with the Marvel set for when they do in print versions versus online versions, and I wonder how that's going to apply to other licenses as well. It's a very interesting thing. I think it might only be a Marvel thing, but I also wonder if that would impact, of course, Star Wars. It's a very interesting thing if they're ever going to do Star Wars. I think there's still a chance of it. And some people will say they won't do Star Wars for Magic because they already have Star Wars Unlimited. And I understand that Star Wars Unlimited is doing some very cool and exciting things. There's some stuff from KOTOR. KOTOR 2 is going to be coming to Star Wars Unlimited. It's a really exciting time for Star Wars Unlimited players as well. But I don't think the fact that there's already a Star Wars card game would preclude Lucasfilm from licensing it to Magic also, because they're different card games, and also because of the fact that other companies have done the same thing. Look at Final Fantasy. They have their own card game, and they still license the Magic the Gathering set. I think if the money's there, they'll probably go for it. But because Star Wars Unlimited is doing fairly well, I don't know if that means it's it may be farther away. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But I tell you this. This is something I would love to see. And this is one of the reasons why I want to have a complete collection of all the Star Trek Magic cards. Because if they do ever do the Star Wars version of Magic the Gathering. I want to be able to take Star Trek versus Star Wars and just do, just do crazy, silly, fun battles with it. I think it'd be the coolest thing ever. And I hope they do commander decks for all of these as well. It'd be a super cool experience, and I am definitely here for it. And I'll be bringing some coverage of it. I'm not sure if everybody's going to be interested in Magic coverage, but we do have a lot of Starship stuff, so I think that Star Trek and Magic the Gathering might be the thing to bring at least some of you guys on board with me for the ride. And if not, that's okay. We're kind of like an a la carte section of stuff. Okay, so Star Trek Magic, that's exciting. I want to talk about the big thing, the big thing. So the big thing that I want to talk about with you guys. And this one might go on for a little bit. I don't know how long this is going to go for. I'm going to kind of shoot from the hip with this. It's Twilight Imperium, Thunder's Edge. An expansion. It comes out this month. It's a very cool expansion for Twilight Imperium. This is good news. But it wasn't all good news for me yesterday. And that's what I'm going to talk about. But it ended up really good. And I'll talk a little bit about why. Because there was a complicated situation. I'll kind of go over it. And it illustrates, a lot of a situation that could have gone a couple of different ways that went really well. So let's start talking about Twilight Imperium, Thunder's Edge. This is a cool expansion. Doesn't require you to have the Prophecy of Kings expansion, but it works better if you do. It has a lot of new cards. It takes all the codexes that they've done, which are like basically errata and updates to the game, and all this print and play stuff that they had available on the website, and they printed all that stuff out so you can now swap out those cards. I have a lot of housekeeping I have to do. With all of that, I have a lot of cards that I've got to swap out. They're out on my gaming table right now, and I'm trying to sort everything out because there's a lot that goes into it. There's a bunch of new factions. There's an entire new game mode with Thunder's Edge that is also really cool. It has a whole new way to play Twilight Imperium. It's almost so many different modules and different things that you're adding to the game, things that are optional, and some things that are, just straight additions to the game, that it almost feels a little overwhelming. So it's going to take some time to kind of acclimate to all of it and to bring forth a full review. I posted an unboxing yesterday. So here's the story. So I'm part of a program to be able to get review copies from Asmodee, as I have been doing tabletop gaming and game reviews and all kinds of things like that for over a decade now. This is kind of how things go. And I'm no stranger to doing game reviews. So I got this showed up on my door, and I was super excited. I was like, "Oh, it's here!" I didn't have a timeline of when to expect it really, so it kind of showed up out of the blue, and I was very surprised. And I'll admit I hadn't been completely up to speed with every update that Fantasy Flight had posted for Twilight Imperium. I wasn't sure what was spoiled and what wasn't spoiled. All I knew was that this game was now on my desk. All right, I got a box, and I was excited. Now, sometimes a game will come with a note or paperwork or a folder. Sometimes there's a packet of information. Sometimes there's just a handwritten note. Sometimes there's typed letters. Sometimes there's special wrapping, or tape over a game or something like that that will have an embargo date or anything like that. I didn't have anything like that. Double checked my email, didn't have any correspondence like that. So it didn't seem to me like there was any problem with posting some content right away, because it's one of my favorite things to do. Is I guess something I'm like, oh, let me film an unboxing, get my genuine reaction right away. And so I did that. I did check on the timeline. I checked the website because, again, I like to also get a link to the website, and it comes out. I want to say the 24th. It was a little bit later this month, but we're within a couple of weeks of this coming out, so it didn't seem like it was all that early. I wasn't even sure if I was the first one to get it or not, or what have you. But I went ahead and filmed an unboxing, got a lot of close-ups of a lot of the cards and some of the new things that are in this game, and posted it. Went live this morning. Started doing pretty good. Started getting actually a lot of views, and seemed pretty popular. And that's kind of when some of the drama started, because I started to see comments and reactions from people that were a little bit less than positive. Some people were a little bit angry that I had posted this so early. Now, to me, this wasn't necessarily that early. I've had plenty of things that were more than a few weeks out. I know, gosh, what was it, like Armada Wave 7 I got before most of it wasn't spoiled yet. And I had that one, like, I think it was over a month early. I had that one before it came out. So, you know, it wouldn't be the first time I've had stuff that I was chosen to spoil, because I do happen to be a little bit larger of a channel in the tabletop gaming world, especially when it comes to miniature spaceships, right? So, so it didn't strike me that odd that some folks were like, "Are you sure you should be posting this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm definitely sure." I double checked, made sure there was no embargo on any of my correspondence with it. So there was, you know, there. And if you're not familiar with what embargo means in this case, it just means a media embargo. In other words, hold all of your content until a certain date is the term that gets used usually. This happens a lot with licensed games. This happens a lot with Kickstarters or with big coordinated developments. When there is a game, when there's a coordinated media plan for a game, sometimes there'll be an embargo date. Like, hey, the 1st of next month is when we want all the news to start. I have been on the wrong side of embargoes in the past as well, where I've had something that I've had to hold a video for months in some cases, waiting for the thumbs up date from the publisher. Meanwhile, other people had broken that embargo and are publishing stuff left and right, and I have to sit there and wait. So it's, you know, it's a double-edged sword. Well, I did get one message. I got a couple of messages. I got some emails, some Discord messages, and I talked to I talked to some people, and basically the summary is that FFG had given an embargo to some folks that they had sent advanced copies of the game to of October 14th, and then everybody, there were multiple other content creators and channels and stuff that had copies of this that were waiting, and I guess some of those folks might not have been too happy about the fact that I'm now publishing all of this stuff while they're waiting patiently, and I can definitely understand that. So, you know, some people were nicer about it than others, but I think in general, a lot of people were pretty understanding. So, you know, this is where it kind of started to get complicated. By the time I realized that there was actually an embargo that multiple other content creators were abiding by, the first thing I did was I wrote. Now, my video had already been up for a couple of hours by that point. There were already screenshots that were circulating across Discords and different social medias and Reddit and all of these other things. So I decided, you know what, let me go ahead and write the marketing team at Asmodee, explain everything to them, you know, and make sure that I didn't screw up, because I'm like, there was no embargo. Did I miss something? Was there supposed to be something in the... So I explained the whole situation to them. I said, you know, let me know what you'd like me to do. They wrote me back and said they were trying to figure it out. It seems like there was a miscommunication somewhere in the chain, but it wasn't on me. So, I told them, all right, let me know what you want me to do. If I have to take the video down, I have to take the video down. That's fine. But I'll be standing by. So I was basically standing by on direction from between Asmodee and Fantasy Flight, and they worked it out. So at this point, things were a little tight. It was not the happiest couple of hours during the day, because while I think most people were understanding, and I had certainly been leaving comments and explaining myself, I don't know if everybody was convinced. There's always going to be some people, and the funny thing is, 99 people, you know, can be nice, but the one person who's negative gets, you know, most of the attention. That's just the way it works. We shouldn't always give our energy to the one. We should also take time to appreciate the 99, and they should get 99% of our attention, you know. But it doesn't always work out that way. But there were definitely some people who were very nasty, and the emotions kind of ran all over the place. And I definitely understand, because some folks, you know, are holding content patiently and waiting for a specific date. And Fantasy Flight had, you know, a coordinated media approach that they were planning to do, and so there was definitely some things that kind of got messed up. And I'm also worried because I haven't done any, you know, direct work with Asmodee in a long time. It's been a couple of years since I've gotten any kind of early access or review copy stuff from Fantasy Flight, Atomic Mass, or Asmodee directly. And I'm now terrified at this point that, oh no, the story is going to be behind the scenes. Crabbok screwed up and broke our whole thing. That's like my biggest fear at this point. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're done with me. I'm never getting anything else from them. It's over. I screwed up somehow. Wasn't sure what happened. So I made a post on Reddit kind of explaining everything, and for the most part, everybody was pretty good about that, and they understood. And when one of the things that is, I found that, like, regardless of whether or not this was my fault or whoever's fault it was, there's people who were probably chosen maybe before me or chosen by different groups that were also supposed to have an exclusive. There were some people that were chosen to be able to have content that came out on day one of the chosen date. And regardless of how it happened, those people now have their toes stepped on. And like it or not, I kind of still stepped on those toes. So I felt pretty bad about it. So what I wanted to do is, if you are a content creator, if you had Twilight Imperium stuff that was ready to go live and maybe I stepped on your toes, I want to signal boost. I want to help share your stuff. I want to help promote. So so I've said this on Discord. I've said this on Reddit. But if in case you haven't reached any of those channels or haven't seen it, go ahead and shoot me an email at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. I would love to coordinate with you and send me your links when you get them posted, and I'd love to share them. And I think more people making content about stuff is great for all of us. Tabletop games is a relatively smaller community, especially amongst the gaming community. So in my point of view is more content creators, more videos on the same stuff, more articles, more blogs, more podcasts, all of that stuff is good for all of us. It gets more people excited about this hobby. And it's one of those deals where a rising tide raises all ships, if that makes sense. So I'm definitely happy to help promote, because that also helps promote this awesome game. And I am a genuine big fan of Twilight Imperium. It is my favorite game. Just don't get to play it that much. I know some people criticized that it sounds like he doesn't really play the game that much because there's certain cards he didn't recognize just how powerful they were. That may be true. I don't get to play Twilight Imperium as nearly as much as I'd like, but when I do play it, I have so much fun that it continually cements itself as my favorite game. Even if I only play, sometimes I've gone a year without playing, right? And it's it's just the nature of the beast. It's not the easiest thing to get a lot of people together, and I can't always play can't play a 2-player game of Twilight Imperium and get the same experience. Or I don't even think you can play a 2-player game of Twilight Imperium, but you can't play a 3-player game and get the same experience you get with like a 5-player game or a 6-player game. Or I haven't gone above 6 before. I usually don't have time to do that, but that is my point. Is that I think those other channels that are more dedicated to Twilight Imperium are going to be able to offer some really deep and compelling insight into some of the cards and into some of the content that maybe I won't have the depth of knowledge that they do. So all the more reason to continue to promote those channels. So definitely down to help out if I can, and if you even want my help, so definitely let me know. Now the story gets better because on top of that, there was also some posting by the Fantasy Flight's marketing team where they also clarified that this was an internal miscommunication, and it wasn't in any way due to a failure on my part or any kind of mal intent. Because there were some people that had basically accused me of doing this on purpose or for financial gain or something like that. And yes, I do run ads on my videos. I'm going to continue to run ads on my videos. That's one of the things I do. I need like the $7 or $8 I'm going to make for each video because it adds up, and then I can eat lunch. But that's one of the things I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to still run ads. It's how it goes. Although I don't run ads on my website though. So if you ever go to crabbok.com, I turn them off over there. But that's, so it started to work out really good. So what ended up happening, let me fast forward to the end of this story. Fantasy Flight decided to lift the embargo for all of their content creators and for all of the information out there for Thunder's Edge. And I think that's the best possible solution. I think I think the way that we all worked together, I think the way the community came together to both support Fantasy Flight's initiatives, the way that they handled, the way that Asmodee and Fantasy Flight both handled this, and turned what could have been like an ugly situation into an excellent situation. I think they did about the best that they could. So the embargo is lifted for Thunder's Edge. If you're a content creator about it, you, of course, by all means, verify with the teams and your points of contact. But the embargo has been lifted, so definitely look for more content about Thunder's Edge. Definitely stay tuned to FFG's social media channels to get some of their articles in there. They're still going to do their same plan of articles and deep dives into this new aspect and that new aspect. And those are great media sources too. Not everybody is going to see my video. They're going to get, people consume media in different ways. And frankly, there's a big difference between an article that's showcasing some new stuff. I happen to love the way Fantasy Flight does their articles. They will focus on a couple of cards and show you the interactions, show you the deep dive, show you the tech, show you the value of that card. That's not stuff that I went into in my unboxing. I was just showing you what you would get and showcasing some of the cards. I didn't even go into everything. There's some stuff in this box I didn't even look at because I didn't know what it was, so I didn't really focus on it. I just tried to get like 90% of the stuff kind of showcased. So there's stuff in here. Now, there's some things that I didn't realize were double-sided in my video. Some people have asked, hey, can you show more of this? Can you show the back side of this? Can you answer some of these questions about that? I will do that. But as a courtesy to all of the other content creators out there that had their toes stepped on, I'm going to withhold future content on Twilight Imperium until what would have been the original embargo date. So I'm going to hold on to this stuff until the 14th. I'm working on more content. I'm going to be doing some more things. I'll focus some more on the alternate game mode that comes in there. Of course, on reviewing some of the stuff in here after having played a game or two with it. And also, I wouldn't mind doing some painting videos. Maybe one of my plans is to paint the new gray plastic miniatures that come in here and maybe put like a Thunder's Edge inspired paint job on them. So there's more content coming, but I'm going to give it some time. So if you are one of the people in my comments who has been asking, hey, can I get more from this? Can I get more from this? Hopefully there will be other content creators that are showing you this stuff. I will happily answer those questions, but out of respect for everybody else who was planning on, kind of hitting launch day with all of this stuff, I'm going to kind of bow out for a few days. But there's plenty of hype right now. There's plenty of spoilers that are out there. Definitely look to that. Look to Fantasy Flight's articles and all of the media frenzy that they're going to have going on. Also, look to all the other content creators that are going to be posting Twilight Imperium content over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a very exciting time. October is going to be a great month for Twilight Imperium fans. And I love the way Fantasy Flight handled this situation. I thought there was a lot of respect and mutual agreement and cooperation that happened between all parties involved, and the community has been great and understanding at large. Again, the 99% have been really awesome, and so I want to thank all of the Twilight Imperium community and the Twilight Imperium Reddit as well. Excellent folks out there, so thank you guys for for showing a lot of support and for bearing with me and for all of us kind of going through this last day or two together. It's been a very interesting 48 hours, I'll say. I'm saying 48. It's 24 right now, but depending on when you're watching this, it might be a little bit later. But it's been a very interesting time. All that to be saying that I think it was handled very well, and I am looking forward to seeing the deep dives that some of the other content creators are going to be able to do on some of the stuff, because there's so much in this box. It's hard to process it all at once. It really is. And so the more I look at some of these things, the more I'm like, wait, some of the people pointed out, like there was one artifact that can make you lose your home system. And I'm like, wow, that seems terrible at face value. And then you do the deep dive on it, and you're like, oh yeah, but you have a 10% chance of getting a victory point, and that could be all you need to win the game. And there's a time and a place for things like that, and I'm like, that's a really good point. It's a really, really good point. And so the deep dives are shine a whole lot more light than a simple unboxing. So there's a lot more Twilight Imperium content coming, so stay tuned for that. And that is going to wrap up this episode of Awesome Gaming News. It's going to be an awesome month. and I am hopefully that you guys are watching these videos and enjoying them, and hopefully you guys have an awesome October as well, and hopefully you have a happy Halloween, and as we go into hopefully colder months and more gentler weather and excellent gaming weather. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful time. I'm going to go ahead and sign off now. I want to thank you guys for watching. Big thanks to Asmodee and Fantasy Flight for all of their support and communication and cooperation with Twilight Imperium. And big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world and help make this whole channel possible. I will talk to you later. May the Force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. So say we all. And always wash your socks.